Okay. So this is our first gentle drop-in class. So I won't be emailing the link out because now we're no longer just a single group. So if you would like the link, you have to email me and then I'll just send it to you. So if you attend the class, it's not any additional cost. It's just by request. Just let me know and I'll send it to you. All right, so we're gonna start, as we always do, we're gonna sit tall in our chair and just try not to use the back for support so that you're having to kind of work with your posture in a way that you're supporting yourself. And you just wanna take care of the feet, make sure they're right underneath your knees and that you're not tucking them back. You wanna feel really stable in your legs. And then just take a moment to slide your hands somewhere so that your shoulders move back and you're finding your shoulders are right above your hips. And see if you can balance the weight of yourself over your sitting bones, and not only the sitting bones, but be more specific, try to be on the centers of the sitting bones. And then close your eyes and look toward your cheeks. Just giving your brain that message that we're going to kind of tune into the body and the breath and give the brain a little bit of a passive break. And start to observe your breathing and also notice any sensation you feel in your body this morning. Just let your attention kind of wander throughout your body. Kind of exploring, noticing. Also notice areas that might be a little dull, maybe no sensation. Try to release your shoulders away from your ears. Relax your jaw. Soften your face. Notice if there's tension in the belly. And see what happens when you let it go. Whatever's coming next in your day, just give yourself permission to set that aside for now. This practice is really about cultivating presence. So staying with the breath and staying with the body will help us do that. And when you feel ready, joining your hands together in front of your heart and bowing your head toward your heart. Let your hands release down, and when you're ready, lift your head. Let your eyes open. And welcome. We're going to actually start out with a breathing exercise today called alternate nostril breathing. And this is always practiced with the right hand, whether or not you're dominant with your right hand. So you're going to fold in your index fingers and your middle fingers, leaving the other three fingers extended. And you'll be working primarily with the ring finger and the thumb, going back and forth between the nostrils to, with one finger, block, and with the other finger, stretch the skin away to open the nostril cavity. So just kind of, we won't get into the whole thing yet, but I just want you to take your thumb to your nose, pressing that nostril in, and then using your ring finger to stretch the other nostril kind of more open. Take a breath in, and then close that nostril with your ring finger. Stretch the thumb side nostril out with that free thumb, and exhale. Inhale. So that's kind of the general idea with how we're using the fingers. What you're going to be doing is kind of inhaling one breath up one nostril and exhaling it down the other. And then we'll inhale in reverse order. So you're going to notice probably differences in your nostril cavities, and you'll also be able to kind of bring more breath in once you're through this practice. It's going to help you breathe a little bit better. And this is a practice that you can do any time of day. It is a versatile practice, meaning that it not only settles your nervous system, but it also can give you energy. So it's one of those hybrid kind of breathing practices. Most of them do just one or the other. So this one does both. It's energizing and calming at the same time. One thing to note is you want to kind of imagine you have a tennis ball in your armpit. So we don't want to clamp the arm against the side body because that's congestive to the armpit area, which is one of our kind of vital energy pockets in the body. So just bring awareness to keeping the elbow kind of extended out to the side rather than pinned up against you. So we're going to begin just taking a full breath in. At the top of the inhale, you can plug the thumb side nostril and exhale the free nostril. Inhale, left nostril. Closing at the top of the breath, opening the right nostril, stretching that skin away from the nostril cavity with your thumb. Exhale and inhale. So you're closing at the top of the in-breath, opening the new side, exhaling out, and inhaling same side. Closing, open the right, exhale, inhale, right. Okay, so we all breathe at a different rhythm, so hopefully by now you kind of get the idea. You're taking the breath up the one side, releasing it out the other. Closing with one finger and stretching the skin away with the other to open that cavity. Just do a few more on your own. When you inhale, next breath, you can release your hand down. Just have both palms face up on your lap somewhere. Close your eyes, breathe freely. Hopefully you notice a little more clarity in the breathing through the nostrils. It's okay if you don't also. And just notice any effects that follow here. They could be physical, they could be mental. Just kind of notice whatever happens, whatever shows up here. And then when you're ready, gently open the eyes. So that's Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. We're going to get into some movement now. We're going to start with a twist, but we're going to do it a little bit differently than we have before. So we're going to turn in our chairs 90 degrees so that we're able to use the back of the chair. So let's turn to face right. Sorry, Linda, of course. So you should have that chair off to your left side, and you're going to be turning with both arms and just grabbing onto the back of the chair. And kind of sense that with one hand you pull and with the other hand you push to help you gently turn. And I want you to just kind of gently grip the abdominal muscles, the lower abdominal muscles, to stabilize the pelvis. And try to bring the twist up into the chest and armpit area. Float your elbows out a little bit wider, just to, again, the same idea. We don't want to pinch the elbows up against us. Keep the armpits aerating. And just play with a little full range of motion with your head turning to the fullest degree left and to the fullest degree right. Kind of like you're in slow motion. So just bringing a little bit of side to side action with your chin, moving or tracking from one shoulder to the other. Try to keep your eyes relaxed. And the next time you turn and look over the right shoulder, you're going to keep your chin just hovering there and switch your gaze, only your eyes, switch your eyes to the left. Sometimes this brings a little openness in the sinuses. And I don't know about you, but lately there's been a lot of allergens and I feel kind of congested in my face. So this for me is helpful. And again, it's always okay if you're not sensing these things or finding the same results. On an inhale, you can just kind of bring everything back around. You're going to do a 180 on your chair, so you can do the same thing to the other side. And just make sure your feet end up right under your knees. The feet are hip distance, that you're not in some other leg position. So again, that idea of a stable base is important. Turning again toward the back of the chair. And you can grab on the chair any way. I use the heels of my hands. One pushes, one pulls. And try to just gently grip the lower abdominals. You can think about, as a way to do this, kind of squeezing your hip bones toward one another. And again, start to wave the chin from side to side in slow motion. If you get dizzy this way, just close your eyes. The next time your chin arrives closest to your left shoulder, you can leave it there. If the eyes are closed, open them. And then averting your gaze to the right, sensing into the skull, the face, the sinuses, maybe noticing sensation, maybe not. And then taking the last exhale, you can inhale and just kind of free yourself out of it and swing back around facing forward. We'll come into dolphin diving just to really lubricate the spine with back bending, forward bending. So we want a little bit of a wider space because our torsos have to come through or toward the floor, and we don't want to be stopped by our legs. So just take hold of your knees or your thighs. We're going to come down with an arch in our back first. So your back is like the good side of a spoon. You're going to exhale, leading with your breastbone. Keep your eyes forward. Try to match your out breath with this kind of complete full range of motion here. And then when you get to your low point, you're going to inhale, chin comes to chest, the belly button pulls back toward the spine, and your head comes up last. Exhale, come down, lead with the breastbone, pull the shoulders back. Make sure you have enough of the seat underneath your buttocks so that you feel really secure, like you're not on the very edge of your seat. So take up a lot of that surface area. And let your main goal here be a smoothness, not a fastness, not how many repetitions, but a smoothness. Notice how you have to use your stomach muscles to bring yourself up. So make sure you're just gently gripping the stomach muscles to return the spine to that upright position. And we'll do one more here, just like this, bowing on the exhalation and stacking the spine again on the in-breath. And when you get there, you can just keep yourself sitting tall. We're going to dip the right shoulder kind of toward midline, toward the floor, same time. So you're pushing back on the inner right knee. And I just want you to pause here and take a few deep breaths. Hopefully your right lower back is responding. Remember, anytime you have a little opening in the body with a pose, you want to apply the breaths. Opening the window, make sure there's a breeze idea. On the in-breath, you'll pull back out with the right shoulder. And then exhale, pushing in on the inner left knee, dipping the shoulder to midline and toward the floor. You might lock out that arm if it gives you a little more power. You might have to make a fist if your wrist doesn't like this position. Couple more exhales, breathing into the left lower back, and also anywhere else you feel this. Imagine your breath sweeping through the body, swirling around, little dust devils, waking up the body this way. Inhale, come up, and exhale there. Good, so forward bending dolphin diving. You're gonna tuck the chin, navel comes in toward the spine, you're rounding your back. We're still gonna exhale as we bow down, so you're still compacting the belly, which is a great time to exhale. When you're ready to come up, you wanna look forward first, keeping your chest low, and then come up, your back should be in an arch, the good side of the spoon, all the way up. Good. Tucking the chin, pulling the navel in, rounding your way down, exhale. And again, it doesn't matter how much your range of motion is, just try to create the smoothness, undulating the spine. This is like a dolphin moves in and out of the water, very gracefully, very smoothly. Let's do 3 more. Just tuning into where you're feeling sensation, the body talks to you, so listen. I lost count, so let's do 1 more. Wonderful. All right. So go ahead and join your legs a little bit closer so they're under the knees. Again, your knees are as wide as your hips, and you're going to find your strap. You'll take your strap in your hands. You may need to modify, what we're going for is straight arms and kind of a letter V shape, but if you need to modify, feel free to drop elbows down so they're level with shoulders, or even lower if the shoulders are bothering you here. So remember your sitting bones, keep the weight equal. Inhale here, and on your exhale, you're going to tilt up with the right hand, down with the left hand, and really resist the hands apart. This is our lateral movement. So your spine looks like a crescent moon shape here. But that right sitting bone is really going to try to pull away from the chair. So really keep a lot of attention in keeping your right sitting bone anchored to the chair. Let your breath sweep in and out of the right side body space. And any amount that you can, take your strap farther back. Yes, good. Breathing. On your in breath, you're going to come to center. Give yourself a little rest here. Lower your strap down. Just take a moment, pausing. It gets tiring to hold your arms up, so we want to come into second side ready and refreshed, not tired. When you feel that you're refreshed, you can take the arms up again. Hopefully your arms are out of your peripheral vision. That's a good sign that your chest is open. Let's take a big in breath. Exhale. Tilting left hand up, right hand down, without your weight shifting completely to the right. So keeping lots of weight in your left sitting bone. Pulling the hands apart without them actually moving. So it's an isometric movement. And you're also gently taking the hands back. Don't forget to think about where your spine, what your spine looks like here. If you were standing behind yourself, that crescent moon shape, that's going to help your sense of where you are in space sharpen up. And then go ahead and inhale yourself up, and exhale, release your arms down. Okay, now we're going to pass the strap behind us for a sustained back bend. We did a little back bending on the dolphin dives, but this will be a little bit more sustained, a little longer hold. So your palms will face forward. Your hands are slightly wider than your shoulders. You should feel your shoulder blades, rather than jamming together across your back, coil the inner shoulder blades toward your chest so that you're not simply jamming them together. We want to kind of turn the inner shoulder blade tips toward the chest. This will create some support. And then pull your strap toward the floor, even if it's hitting your chair and kind of being blocked that way, extending down through your knuckles. Lift your breastbone and slightly look up. And even though your low back, for most of us, wants to shorten quite a bit here, take your tailbone and try to bring it into the body, toward the front body. Think about your pelvis and tilt your whole pelvis back. If it was a cup of coffee, you're tipping it back. Lift your breastbone. Try to relax your jaw, soften your temples. Good. And now inhale to come out of it. And one last time, we're going to take the strap overhead. Kind of similarly working the spine in a back bend. You're going to take the strap overhead. And again, you can soften up those elbows if you need to. You're going to take the hands back, lift your gaze, which will help your spine extend. Take the tailbone toward me or toward the front body. Relax your jaw. And try to keep the neck long. In other words, there's no crease, you're not dropping the neck. So imagine that the spine continues all the way up through the very top of your head. And if you feel some stretching across your chest, make sure to breathe into that. Part of the reason we get tight shoulders is because our chest shortens laterally, meaning it shortens across. So open the chest in an expansive way, which is our term for horizontal space. Wonderful. And now push your strap forward, hollow your belly, tuck your chin, and just hold your arms level with the floor. So that means your hands are right out extended in front of the shoulder line. Like there's a giant beach ball in front of you. You're contouring your belly around it. and just holding this forward bend for a couple deep breaths. Even though your hands are in front of you, try to keep your shoulders out of your peripheral vision. So pull your shoulders back. Go ahead and bring your spine up, bring the strap down. You can leave it across your legs. Just extend your arms out to the sides. Imagine your fingertips are little sprinklers, just watering the ground, extending a little bit out through the fingertips, your palms facing forward, tilting the pinkies slightly up. Couple deep breaths. Okay. So we're going to connect a forward bend with a twist. Option one, which is a little bit less deep, is going to be to take your left elbow to your left thigh, put your hands together like prayer position, and then align the forearms so they create one single line. And then from there, you would be turning and pointing your chest to the right. If you can go deeper, maybe you would take your left elbow outside the right thigh. You might bring your feet closer together. Either way, try to match the weight of the sitting bones and try to not only bring your chest to the right, but also toward the thumbs, your breastbone toward your thumbs. Make sure you're looking off to the side, that you haven't forgotten that you have a head. Three more breaths. And after your third exhale, help yourself back to center. And then you can either cross your arms for child's pose and use the arms to connect your chest and your thighs, or you can hang your arms and dangle your head and come directly chest to thighs. But do let go of the head wherever you are and try to form some connection between your thighs and your chest so you come into that parasympathetic nervous system state that's so calming and quieting and so needed. Good. Now another attempt, this time we'll turn to the left. So slowly come up. If you're going to do the modified version, you'll want to separate your feet so that you have that room to kind of turn and clamp the elbow against the thigh. So you might start with your right elbow on your right thigh. You might be able to take the right elbow to the left thigh. And you can feel that tendency that the torso wants to kind of collapse toward the floor. So our work is really to dig the elbow into the thigh, to rotate the chest to face to the left, and to attempt to draw the sternum toward the thumbs. Every time you exhale, it's a chance to go just a little bit deeper. When you finish up your exhalation, inhale, make sure you're gripping your stomach muscles to keep yourself kind of safely moving out of it. And then back to that chair-seated child's pose. So either thighs connected with arms or arms dangling freely, head dangling freely. 5 breaths. Try to surrender all effort from your body here. Accept what you absolutely need. Good. And then again, using your stomach muscles, gripping the stomach muscles, slowly come up. So we're doing a lot of our practice seated today. I should have said that earlier, but when I went to plan the class, it was like, oh, seated, 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 for whatever reason. Maybe it's the rain, but there's a lot of good stuff we can do seated. So we're gonna do a right knee bend, left leg extended. There's 2 poses named after ancient yogi, sage people. Marichyasana is the 2 poses we're gonna do today. One is a twist, one is a forward bend. So the forward bend actually is really benefited by the twist. So the more your spine is able to twist, the deeper you'll go in forward bends. So we're going to start with the twisting version of this. You're resting on your left heel. Try to put your left toes above your left heel. So it's like you took your foot off the gas. And then you should feel your leg kind of strongly engaged that way. We're going to raise the arms on the in-breath. And on the exhale, you're turning to your right, and you'll take your left hand to your right thigh. Your right hand just propped up on the chair, kind of really right directly behind the buttocks, maybe tented up on your fingertips if you need a little height. And now you're going to turn yourself to the right. We've done several twists today already, so your spine should be pretty ready for this nice deep twist. Keep rotating your chest to the right as well as you can. Remember that you're trying to gently grip your lower abdominals to keep your pelvis safe. We don't want to rotate the pelvis a whole lot here. Just a couple more exhales. And then on an inhale, you can lift and lengthen out of the twist. Your strap hopefully is still available. We're going to be folding forward, but in a way that will keep your chest really open, which is always the goal in our forward bends, is that somehow we can keep our breastbone forward. So you're going to come back to that position we did earlier where you're holding the strap, your hands are slightly wider than your shoulder width, your palms are facing toward your front body. So I want you to really just kind of lift and spread your chest before you do anything. Your legs are still in the same position, right knee bent, left leg extended and active. Inhale. And then exhale, leading with your chest like you did for that dolphin dive. Your chest should be the forwardmost thing of your body, not your chin, not your eyeballs. Those two will try to take over. So your chin, pull back, your eyeballs, give them roots. Lead with your breastbone. Even if you feel like you aren't very far forward, don't worry about that. Nobody has a measuring stick, nobody cares. So it's really about how it feels. This is how we come into forward bends with integrity. Okay, so stay for 5 more breaths. As you practice more and more, you will go deeper one day, someday. But the good news is that you'll be doing so in the right way and not in the wrong way, which can injure you. And just feel how those hands are like an anchor for you. So you're not going to do a somersault out of your chair. Your hands are anchoring you. Good. Inhale, come up. Lift, 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 lift. Just let the strap hang out behind you. You can step your left foot under you, bounce your legs or do something to kind of release all that effort from your body. And then we'll extend the right leg. If your chair is not the right size for your body, you might have to prop your heel with a block. So always know that you can do these things to make the poses work for you. We all have different proportions and dimensions, and our props we have to kind of work with sometimes to customize. Okay, so we're set up for the twisting action again. You have right leg extended, left knee bent. We're going to inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, turning to the left. Your right hand comes to the left thigh, and your left hand is right behind you on the chair, maybe on the fingertips. And you're going to take 5 or 6 breaths, just turning well to the left. And even though you're not looking at your right leg, keep some attention there. That right leg is important to this pose. And one of the signs of being kind of more masterful in our poses is that we're able to keep attention throughout the body, not just where our eyes are looking. Last exhale. And inhale to raise the arms and come back to center. And exhale, lower the arms. You can grab your strap. Palms facing forward. If you have issues with gripping, you can always use your strap in a loop. You can like tie it in a loop or use the belt in a loop and just put your wrists inside that loop, and then you don't have to grip. So if that's an issue for you, just know there's a way around it. First, just start to fully extend the arms and lift your breastbone, spread your chest. Take an inhale here. Exhale, remember you're leading with your chest. Even if you only move an inch or so. Remember not to jam your shoulder blades together. Try to tip the inner blades toward the chest, coiling them. Your chin shouldn't be waving in the wind here. Pull it back if you feel your head is thrown forward. Pull your eyes back or close them even if that helps you soften the eyes. Your eyes bugging out of your head will not make a better pose. Think about the inner flesh of your upper arms. and try to rotate it forward and around. That's going to help your shoulders continue to externally rotate to keep your chest lifted and spread. 2 more breaths. On your inhale, lift yourself up. And exhale, you can bend your right knee, give your legs a bounce, maybe shake your arms out, do a little jig, whatever makes you feel good. All right, so we're going to practice our chair pose today, and the first way we're going to practice is with the full support of your chair seat. And then the second way we will do without the chair seat. So begin with your legs and feet together. Your heels can be slightly behind the line of your knees. And I want you to just pay attention to your feet and note the tripod. So you have the big toe ball mounds, the small toe ball mounds, the heels. So press those 6 points down, but then press all 10 toe pads down as well. And just sense all the surface area of your feet. And power up your legs so you're pushing your feet into the floor. You're using the power of your legs to press down into the floor. Contract your pelvic floor. It's the same action we use to not wet our pants, so it lifts the energy of the spine, little contraction there. And then you're going to raise the arms. And if you can do straight arms up and down, great. Otherwise, V, goalpost, are great options. But you're going to angle your torso just slightly forward and keep pressing good weight into your feet. Keep the pelvic floor lifted. Tailbone should be moving toward your front body. And if you can't smile, something needs to change. So I call it the smile test. If we can't smile, we're kind of overwhelmed. So make sure to back off somehow. You're breathing. Make sure you're breathing. Navel in. 2 more breaths. Keep pressing into your feet. Good. And then inhale. Bring your torso kind of straight up and down. Bring your arms down. And bounce or jiggle your legs, whatever you need to do to let that go. Let your body know it's off duty. Kick the legs if you need to. Good, so stand up for a moment. We are actually gonna come back down to sitting, but stand up for a moment. So I want you to feel the opposite journey of coming into that pose from standing. I still don't have a head. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the chair can be right under you just in case you need it. Hopefully you won't feel like you need it, but you can keep some distance between your feet. 2 fists is a good amount of distance between your feet for this pose. You don't have to go and measure. You can just kind of put your fist there and see what that approximate space is. Toes in front of heels. Again, find those 3 points, the ball mounds, the heels, all 10 toes. I should have said 6 points, 10 toes. Okay, and then we're straight up and down, straight legs. We're gonna raise the arms up, or do your modified arm. Come to the top of an inhale, and on your exhale, start to bend your knees. Move your belly button toward your spine, your tailbone toward the front of your body. Make sure you can smile. 5 breaths. Good, inhale, come up. And exhale, release your arms. Putting yourself in mountain pose. So arms, remember your thumb should be right alongside the centers of the outer hips. For most of us, that means the arms have to move back from the shoulders. Tailbone moves in. Your skull is right above your spine. And try to imagine you have a little weight attached to every single fingertip, and this should help relieve the shoulders from climbing towards your ears. Just drop the shoulders. Feel a deep connection through the soles of your feet into the floor. Feel a firmness in your legs, the muscles hugging onto the bones. And try to create neutral with your pelvis, meaning if it was full of liquid, it's not going to spill out the front or the back. We all have different imbalances in the way we hold the pelvis. So you have to kind of find where your perfect neutral position is. And keeping your feet grounded, finding a lightness to your pelvis, rib cage, and skull. So lifting the pelvis slightly from the floor, the rib cage from the floor, the skull from the floor. Wonderful. And let your eyes blink open. Again, shake out your limbs. We're going to come to seated and do a little bit of work with the hips. We haven't done much with this kind of hip work. So the first thing we have to establish is where you are, where your hips are. So extend your right leg and cross the left ankle over the right shin. And you might be able to bend your right knee and have your left ankle on the thigh side above the knee. You might not. So those are the kind of the working positions that you're gonna shoot for. So either the ankle to the right shin or the ankle to the right thigh. Okay, so everybody have their spot. And then in the very same way, I want you to hold your chair with your hands, not your strap this time, and lead with your breastbone and just come forward. And initiating a little bit more of a hip opener here when we come forward this way. And if you feel your left hip starting to respond, that's the time to just pause, be where you are, don't try to go farther, and breathe. And then on an inhale, you're going to slowly bring your torso up. You can extend your left leg again, maybe put your left foot under your left knee, so we're back in that sitting position. And we're going to try the other side. Just notice that your hips don't always match, so you could have different needs on this side. So just begin kind of checking it out. You're going to extend the left leg, you'll stack the right ankle on the shin. Maybe if the hip is still not feeling anything, you'll see about going to that thigh side, the left thigh. You have to find your position. And then you're going to hold the chair with your hands slightly behind your shoulders, getting that chest to come forward. Inhale here, exhale, just slowly begin that journey of dipping the chest toward the floor until you feel your hip responding. Then just pause there and stay for 5 breaths. And on an inhale, go ahead and lift yourself up and help your right foot to come back to the floor. Whenever we work with hips, there's the potential for the knees to take on rotation because the hips are very good at deferring the stretching. They're very clever like that. We don't want to rotate our knees, so I always try to do something to take care of the knees after we do hip work. So we're going to do those hand to big toe poses that we've been working on in previous weeks. So we're going to begin with the strap coming underneath the right foot. And again, make sure you have a lot of purchase on your chair, that you're not right on the edge. We want to feel secure in our seat. You can wrap your hands with the strap coming around the knuckles so that you don't have to squeeze so hard. And then we're going to lift the right leg from the floor, attempting to take the thigh a little bit higher in space. That being said, make sure that you don't fall either to the back of the sitting bones or onto the tailbone. You want to keep your weight forward over the sitting bones. From the high thigh position, begin to extend your leg and firm your leg. So meaning you're pulling your toes toward yourself, you're shooting an energetic line out through your heel. Your leg is firm and straight. And pull, don't be afraid to pull on that strap. It's going to take your shoulders back. It's going to bring your chest forward. This really equalizes the knee. So if we did rotate from the hip work, now the knee will be kind of realigned. And then go ahead and start to soften the knee, helping your foot come down. You can take the strap off and transfer it over to the left foot. And then again, begin to lift the foot from the floor. Try to elevate the thigh. Keep your sitting bones in contact with the chair. And then at some point, either your leg won't go any higher or you'll be falling back on your tailbone. That's your perfect spot. Extend the leg. Pull on that strap so your chest comes forward. Reach out through the heel. Pull your toes toward you. Your face being hardened or tense won't help you, so relax your face. Breathe. And then go ahead and start to bend the knee. And you can take the strap away. And now we're going to take both hands underneath the right thigh. We're going to work with the abdominals a little bit. So you're just kind of scooping up that leg, holding underneath the thigh with your hands clasping. And again, the idea is to elevate the thigh without falling back on the tailbone. So you're kind of a skinny, getting skinnier version of a letter V, narrowing version of a letter V. So once you brought the thigh in nice and close, begin to extend the leg. You're still going to support with your hands and grip your stomach muscles like it's particle board, and they're just supporting your spine with all that strength and integrity. Good. Keep the shoulders back. Take your eyes slightly higher than your big toe. Nice work. Begin to bend the knee. Step down, sit forward. This is boat pose, so eventually both legs come up. We'll give it just a little attempt after we do the second side. So you're going to scoop underneath left thigh. Inviting the thigh close, but keeping the contact of the sitting bones engaging into the chair. Shoulders back. Think about the skinny letter V. And then start to slowly extend the leg. It might not all the way straighten, so just do what you can. Keep lifting through the top of the head like you have all the support of maybe a big thick rope lifting you from the top of your head. Breathe. Keep the stomach muscles engaging. Relax your jaw, your face. Good. And then start to bend the knee and start to lower the foot back to the floor. And you can sit forward in child's pose using your arms or letting the arms hang freely. Couple deep breaths. Okay, so everybody has a different chair, but what you're going to try to do is grab on to the chair with your hands somewhere low. So if you're able to grab chair legs, great. Under the seat, great. It's going to give you a little bit more support to just attempt the full boat pose. Know that you might not be raising your legs from the floor at all, but at least you'll be able to kind of see what it would take. So you're holding the chair low, you're on your sitting bones, come onto your tippy toes. And then see about raising the feet from the floor. And for some of us, that's a big maybe. You might just raise one leg from the floor at a time and just kind of do these little tiptoes up and down like a little quiet marching. Or you might be able to lift both feet from the floor at the same time. Remember to squeeze your pelvic floor slightly. Make sure you keep breathing. And if you're doing singles, just keep going with your singles. Remember to grip your stomach muscles. Thinking about the hip bones kind of narrowing, which is the transverse abdominal muscles. Good. And then you can go ahead and place your feet down. I want you to lean back in your chair and extend your legs forward. Take your hands to the back of the head and just interlock the hands. And try to open your belly space. So every time we work with the abdominals, what we do want is strength, what we don't want is shortness. So my little phrase is keep the strength, but recover the length. So lengthen the abdominals with every inhale here. And then you're going to help yourself gently come back to seated. Nice work. Okay, so back to gate pose. We've been working on this a little bit. We're going to step the right knee out to the side. Most every single person has tight inner thighs. So this is one of the poses you're going to see me do all the time because it's so beneficial and so necessary to do regularly. So this is gate pose. The right heel should be in line with the right knee. Just keep your left knee forward for stability. And we're going to take our left hand to our left hip, and we're going to just kind of pull the elbow in so that we have more of a chest opening sensation. Your right hand should be up against the inner right knee, and you're going to press the two together. And then you're gonna just gently turn your torso from right to left because it wants to turn left. So don't overshoot it and bring it more to the left. You're only turning in a way that you're getting your shoulders and your hips facing forward, okay? So you don't have to overturn. You're turning enough so that you're not facing the right. I think I said that. Okay, just take a few breaths. See if you can really send some breath into the right inner thigh. Nice. And now just see if you can keep your knee where it is. You're gonna let go with the right arm and raise your arms. So now it takes a little more effort on your part to keep kind of magnetizing the knee back because it wants to pull forward. Come to a top of an inhale, and you can modify your arms here if you need to. And exhale like you're holding a box between your hands, just lengthen to the right. So this is kind of the general shape of the pose, which is one day a kneeling pose where our torso becomes horizontal. But this is the general kind of shape and concept. Inhale, come up. And now exhale, bring your hands to your hips. And just see about extending your right leg out to the side completely with your right toes pointing straight up and down. So I always feel like a little court jester or something in this pose. Every pose kind of gives you a feeling. I always feel like this like little court jester in this pose. But your legs should be firm and active. Your toes are face up. You're gonna have both hands on your hips. Your elbows are kind of working together behind your back. And just hold this for a couple breaths. And then raise the arms. And that same idea, you're gonna hold a box between your hands, imaginary box. Inhale, exhale, lengthen to the right. Nice work. Inhale, come up. And exhale, release your arms, step your foot in, just bounce your legs, whatever you need to do to just be free. Put your limbs off duty, your torso off duty. And then we'll just run through that side two when you're ready. Okay, so you might not have your knee perfectly out to the side, 90 degrees from the hip. Do your best to, be where you can be closer to that position. And then the left hand will pressurize to the inner left knee. Right hand to the waist, elbow pulls in, and just turning your torso as well as you can to the right, just to offset that rotation to the left. Okay, and you're just imprinting the hip, the inner thigh, the knee. You're getting all this good information with the hand helper before we take it away. So just kind of let your body hold this shape and hold this position. And then when you release the knee, you want to do your best to maintain where it is and raise the arms. Inhale, and then exhale, keep that imaginary box between your hands. Just start to lengthen to the left. Yeah, I pulled out because I got a little bit of a cramp in my left buttock, which is super normal for me. So always listening to your body, just never being anywhere that's red flag area. Might need to modify or come out. And then you're going to inhale and come back up. And exhale, bring your hands back to your hips. So now you're just going to extend your leg. Your toes are pointing straight up and down. Again, you might need a block under your heel depending on your body versus the chair relationship. Good, turn your torso back to the right so you're not tempted to turn left. Raise the arms again. Come to the top of an inhale. And then exhale, lengthen to the left. And try to keep some space happening on your left side body between your left hip and your left shoulder. We don't want to just collapse there. We want to keep a sense of spaciousness. And hopefully the arms are helping you do that. Lengthen all the way up through your fingertips. Nice. And inhale, come up. And exhale, lower your arms. Step your feet under you. Give your legs a little bounce or a shake. And now we're going to come into a chair downward dog, just so we can get out of our seats for a moment. So you're gonna have the chair seat kind of holding the edge. You're gonna walk yourself back. So your legs remain vertical, but your torso is starting to take on a diagonal angle. Diangle should be a word, by the way. And then just start to elongate from your hips all the way to your fingertips. You might need to bend your knees. Don't force the legs into straightness if they're not ready. Be gentle. Good. And start to walk yourself in. When you're ready to, standing up. We're going to take a stance with our legs, a wide stance, with your toes turning out 45 degrees. So this is our goddess pose. Feel free to use your chair in front of you if you need a little support, a little steadiness. But if you look down, you'll probably see your knees are kind of knocking or dropping inward. So just see if you can use your own efforts to press the knees. It's the same action as the gate pose we just did. Press the knees back so they're looking more at your toes. They're not drooping in. Take your hands to your hips, shoulders pull back, and then you're going to take your arms into a goalpost position. And remember to find the 16 points of your feet. That means all the toes, the 4 ball mounds, the 2 heels. Lift the pelvic floor to keep your spine energy moving up. It's just a little contraction at the pelvic floor. Should not take more effort than it takes your eyes to blink. So it's a very delicate contraction. And then on an in-breath, you're going to straighten your legs. Turn your toes so they're forward in front of the heels. And then extend your arms, palms down. And then you're just going to slowly blink. And if you're able to, you might just close your eyes. But if you're dizzy, don't close your eyes. Just do a slow blink. Try to relax your shoulder blades down your back. And just let your breath be free and easy. And your arms can come down. Help your feet together. And put yourself in mountain pose just for a couple, let's do a minute. And if you need to keep your eyes open or slightly open, make sure to do that so that our safety, our sense of safety and support and stability are always first priority. As you're ready, you can let your eyes gently open. If you feel cool, you might want to put on something warm. We're going to do our final resting pose. You can do it seated or lying on your back if you prefer. And if you're going to do it seated, we want to be as effortless as possible. So make sure you're using the back of the chair now. Using the back of the chair, do keep in mind your alignment, so you don't want to be slumped and rounded because that will dull the brain. The spine is the signal to the brain. We want to support the brain to be alert because this final resting pose, we are conscious. It's different than sleep that way. We're effortless like sleep, but we are fully conscious, not only fully conscious, we're hyper conscious. We're very aware. So the spinal position is important so that the brain doesn't become dull and sleepy. So use the back of the chair, but still feel your shoulders above your hips. Your chin should be neutral, meaning it's not dropping, it's not lifting, it's just level with the floor. And your head should be aligning with your spine. For most of us, that means a slight adjustment of the head moving back. If you're on the floor, you don't have to worry about it because the floor will align you. Your feet are right under your knees. And once you've set up the physical alignment of the pose, then you start that process of surrender. And yoga is really a two-pillared practice of effort and surrender. Let your face relax, especially around your sense organs, your ears, eyes, nose, mouth, all the skin of the face, all the holding we do. We all have kind of social masks that we wear. Just let that fall away, softening from your hairline all the way to your chin. Relax inside of your mouth. Let the breath become the main object for your attention. You might picture your breath like waves gently lapping up onto shore and receding back. Each wave is unique. We're using the body and all these movements that have preceded this moment to influence the mind to become more stable and still. Notice if there's a little more gapping between your thoughts. Maybe a little bit more time you're able to remain present without distraction. Noticing all that is within you and around you with equanimity, so an evenness of response. We're just going to practice a few deeper breaths. So on your inhale, imagine your breath expanding out like a ripple from your center, your navel. And it might even expand beyond the boundary of the body, of the physical body. And on your exhale, just watching the breath return to that point of origin, the very center of your body, until it completely disappears. Big, expansive in-breath, rippling out, and a really thorough out-breath, coming back to center. When you come to the end of the next deep exhale, just let your breath find its way back to automatic breathing, easy breathing, breath breathing on its own. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, maybe rotate your wrists and ankles, maybe gently rocking your head from side to side. If you're using the chair, you can sit forward. If you're on your back, you can shift to your side. Let's just bring our hands together. Those of you on your side, you'll come to seated. Bring our hands together in front of the heart. Just sit quietly for a couple moments. One clue that we've had an effective practice is that we're able to feel gratitude. So just take a moment here and think of something, anything that you feel grateful for. Maybe it will help to lift the corners of your mouth. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose and let it go. From the place within me that I know to be divine, I honor that place within each of you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Right. Thank you all for being here today. My plan is to just keep going with this class as long as there's interest. So if we ever have an unforeseen off day, I will definitely let you know by email. So make sure you're a subscriber. I think most of you are, but I don't have any that I know of in the future. So hope to see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.